Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. Told him to call me.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Like my coffee extra mad and bitter. Internet lawyer, all like juice, so yeah, the man's a quitter. He's strapped face up behind the platinum grill. My style faceless, just pick these mic skills. And in the street killer, I will not be denied. That I'm mic'd up, I raise my head with pride. A force of nature cruising the whip, doing walk-bys on your boulevard. Face my verbal clip. In this land of live streams, baby, I'm on the road. Got my feet on the media, scraping them up my souls. It's that umbrella guy facing the accusers. Cleated outside 14s, crushing all those losers. It's that umbrella guy, they said we couldn't make it. Never ask permission, just sense I'll go and take it. The media buzzwords, they will never save you. Listen and believe is meant to enslave you. Challenging the hypocrites, and baby, I'm on fire. They flash titles like they're royalty, but it's true that I'm a journalist. Scribble nursey rhymes, one in this grill in the basket, with a tisket and a tasket, and their morals in a casket. No morals in a casket. They're always pushing make believe and weaving straw to gold, but I'm sick of all the fairy tales and buying what I'm sold. Strolling into the backyard, taking truth on tour, baby, there is sickness, and that umbrella guy's got the cure. Look, it's that umbrella guy knocking at the door. No more ministry of truth than the plot of 1984. They're dumping all my verbal clips. The case is filled with knowledge. They're on the mic like kindergarten, and I'm taking them to college. Why the mask, baby? Cause this has to be a crime. I'll take the mic and boom, there in the chalk outline. I used to throw up elbows, but now I'm dropping nukes. You wrote another hit piece, isn't that cute? And the worst part, they'll never learn it before the state start channeling crash and burn. They pretend that we need to get their permission. That umbrella guy crushing their ambitions. You're not my competition, it's that umbrella. It's that umbrella guy steamrolling them out for fun. Mic check, mic wreck, paging this army of one. There's no hesitation, no doubt, not even a scintilla. The Tokyo baby and me, I'm Godzilla. Crushing them like Godzilla, like Godzilla.
All right, folks, what's up today? Man, it is going to be a fun one. I'm so entertained today. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how entertained I am today. One of my Christmas lists looks like it is coming true. Oh my God. We have I'm gonna save this one for a minute, okay? Actually, I was like, should I say it? No, not yet, not yet. I'm gonna give it to you in a minute, though. Okay, I just want more people here before we unveil that one. We have Darth Tudge crying because Jeremy messes with him again. we have Bruce filing in a Yale federal case. He put in his motion to dismiss. It's fascinating because, well, I'm wondering how many times the man has actually contacted. How many people with whatnot has he contacted? First of all, I mean, there's a bunch of them, you know, so we got a new dose of that. I'm just going to throw this out there. What has been my greatest Christmas wish? let me ask folks, you folks that are around here that have seen it, you've heard what exactly I've said. If I could have one thing out of all of this stuff out of them, what would be that? Oh, yeah. Because 2L pro se, not only that, but I want to show you something, okay? Now you've got to brace yourself for this, okay? Because it's pretty entertaining, okay? This is pretty good. So again, if you are standing up, perhaps you would like to seat yourself before this one, all right? So here we go, okay? So this is an extension for time, you know? This was filed by 2L1, right? And of course, it's going to be granted. Of course, that'll be granted. It's just a boring freaking thing, man. I hope to God the locate council. I really hope they go the way it is, because look, when you go to the when you okay, I gotta calm down for a second. I'm laughing every time I even think about this. Okay, when you go down to the address, I cut off part of it, you know, of course, because I don't want to throw it all out there. But you notice the back end of it, legal. she's added a legal address. Oh my God. She's created her own email address for legal. How is this real? Oh my God. I think my head's gonna blow up. Oh my God, that's so funny. That is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. I mean, this is real. This is a court filing, by the way. This is not fake. I've not made this up in any way. This is legit. Oh my God. It's like the parody gods are smiling on me today. I mean, remember, we've had, we started out, remember how this started, okay? I like to go back to this one. So again, I said, my Christmas wish, if I could have one, it started here. and this person being like, can 2L1 represent, even though she's not a lawyer? I'm serial, man. I'm like totally a serial. Holy shit. Then Marla is like, oh, you know what? I'd like to thank all the people who made this possible, especially you, 2L. Oh my God. This stuff this case is going to kill me. I'm telling you. I'm afraid it's going to. How can it be this funny? How can they go out and for real have this kind of wonderful stuff? I mean, this is amazing. You have to admit. You first should get this, where people, I mean, this tells you how stupid some of these people are, by the way, because they really do think that that Marla would be represented well by this person. They actually think this is legit. They're like, hey, and I'm really hoping that here, let me pull this one up, okay? So the second dose of that, if you don't remember, we're going to follow this like a little breadcrumb series. The second wonderful dose of that was Marla being like, shout out to 2L number 1 for helping me with my motions and such. Oh my God. And now we have, so again, it keeps getting better. And then, of course, we have the new one. Oh my Lord, it is like a clown show in this mug. So we have Lisa Lee with her legal address. Holy shit, man. Okay. Now you have to admit that is awesome. You have to admit, no matter what, that's gold. I mean, it is golden. Why in God's name would these people think that this is a good idea? You know, oh my Lord, I've commented on all kinds of stuff in my life. You know, I don't think that I'm going to be able to go out and do it correctly. But apparently these people, again, they're starting to believe their own hype. Oh my God. I've got a special folder for all this. I'm putting it away real quick. You just have to bear with me, because this is some of my favorite so far out of everything. This has been some of my favorite recently. I mean, this and the stuff that's been going on with old Volpe. I think that's pretty funny too. You know, him freaking out because Jeremy Hales has been nice. He actually started freaking out yet again. He did a mass mailing today. He's like, he's bullying me again. Oh my Lord. How in the world can this keep getting deeper? Oh, well, we haven't even gotten to the Bruce stuff today yet. That's going to be fascinating too. I mean, you folks are going to find some. It's going to be really entertaining for you today. It is a day of filings. It is a day of magic. Yeah, I know you spit your. Imagine how I felt when I ran across it. You're like, hey, I just spit out my drink. Again, when I saw this at first, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. How can this be real? I'll pull up the request, and again, props to Max Lab for everything he does, of course. I know. I definitely want to give him props, because, oh Lord, you find gold, man. Maybe you should go into prospecting, because certainly you have been finding some gold lately. Now there was a granting of days, but check this out. So she asked for 30 days. Give me 1 minute here. I have to pull this up. It takes me a second. Again, there will be a granting of more days. You know, there always is a granting of more days. Like if you're like, hey, I need more time to get me counsel, especially with this judge, you know, that's going to happen anyway. But check this out here. I will hit every super chat, by the way. I just saw that one come. So this was the order on it. Defendant Lisa Lee, you know, the amended complaint identifies as Lisa Weeks, but the motion for extension clarifies her name is actually Lisa Lee. Okay, so it does note that in there. Has moved for a 30-day extension to respond to plaintiff's amended complaint. Defendant Lee stated that she needs additional time to locate counsel and prepare a responsive pleading. She further states that several defendants remain unserved, and thus her request will not cause undue delay. Accordingly, it is ordered that the clerk of court is directed to modify the docket to reflect, number one, Weeks is actually Lisa Lee. For good cause shown is granted to the extent on or before the 24th. So it's actually not a 30-day extension, but of course there is an extension. Now, again, that is because, well, first of all, there are a lot of people involved. There are a lot of moving components. So the stuff is going to gather slowly. You know, you're going to have filings come in with this or that. You're going to have other people, you know, that will join in, and we'll see how this shapes up. You know, you'll see exactly who's in, who's not, how, you know, if everything goes forward, some people go forward, nothing goes. I mean, you don't know. You have no idea. Remember, it doesn't matter how good of a case you think you have. There are a lot of elements that go into play. So, it's always a show. Now, the the stuff as far as Darth Touch has been kind of funny too. Give me 1 second. He's been throwing fits in everybody's email. He's been like, "Oh my god!" he's been begging for attention of it because mean old Jeremy, you know, and that's fascinating. Again, this guy here, he threw an absolute fit after going through Jeremy's life. Again, if you haven't seen how this touched off, all right, let me actually bring this up before we pull all of that. So the way that this has come together so far, you have him admit, number one, that, oh, Mr. Touch kicked this off. I mean, he's the one who started everything, right? So he says, oh, well, I innocuously started it by sending him one of Paint Chip's articles. Now, the Paint Chip article in question is one that is pretty fucking nasty business, but they all are like that, right? So, you know, he's used to nobody commenting because that's pretty much been Jeremy's way of going forward. He doesn't comment. He doesn't give them anything. But when he did, he responded by saying, hey, you know, here's a few messages that are out there. These are from, well, I'm going to call them X. I don't know. I'd rather call them baby mama. I guess that's the best way of going about it. And, you know, these statements are from that person. And Hales said, hey, it looks like she could use an aggressive lawyer. And someone who can afford that lawyer, you know, maybe, just maybe, maybe she needs somebody in her corner since, you know, you like fucking around with other people's lives. And freaking, he did not like that at all. He was like, yeah, this is the shortest bullshit he ever writes, by the way. You could tell it got to him. Right here. He's like, you should go for it. You and my ex are a match made in hell. Again, there's new parts of this. I'm just going, and Jeremy was like, no, you misunderstand. You know, we're going after you in court. You owe a tremendous amount of money. There will be a significant amount more. See you in court. You know, Touch was like, go for it. I've been sued before frivolously. I can handle a frivolous lawsuit. And he's like, you know, again, with your limited intelligence, you don't understand. It's not being gone for. It's already started. So we have a new chapter with this today, actually. Let me make sure that I have removed all of the, 1 second. Let me make sure that I got all of the email addresses out of it. No, fuck, there's a few more. Good God, man. These dudes, what they do, I swear to God, they put together the most irritating email chains in the world. They do. And you're like, my God. Well, you know, if you want to beg for freaking people to show stuff, maybe you should redact some of this shit. You know? They do. They beg for attention and they whine for it. Give me 1 second. I'm redacting a couple of email addresses out of here. Yeah, because when they get when they get rolling this through, you can actually, what's funny about it is when you follow it forward, you can see exactly how, like, how upset he gets. Oh my God, you'll love this. All right, here we go. 1 second, I got it saved. I had to save that as crying. Mr. Jeremy's a meanie. I mean, this guy again, he's been begging Hales to give him any sort of attention. And when he got it, he didn't like the kind of attention he got. So Hales actually writes him back. And when he writes him back, 1 second, let me make sure I show this in order. There's 8:20. Okay, here we are. All right, so let me lock in on it. I was making sure I had it in order here. All right, here it is. So you can see again where he's dumped in. He's like, I just shared this thing in here, you know? And of course, it's paint chips targeting Megan Fox, of course. And then you see the conversation that happened before. And well, Jeremy adds this, you know, hey, this is the lady that's his ex there. It's like, you know, hey, Jeremy, it's her, you know, hey, I don't know if you've seen this. Hey, let's talk. Did you get my email? Hey, my son has been missing since October. Hey, you know, please pass this to me. Hey, wait, here's some videos and stuff. Here's screenshots. This is all the stuff about him. So it's like, holy crap. She's definitely communicating there. Oh, my, you know, my, isn't that something? And he's crying because he's like, oh, man, you know, here's a picture there. It said this per whoever, you know. Oh, paint chips is next. Your turn is coming soon. And he was crying in post. He was like, this picture's not real. It's not real. I'm not going to jail. And we aren't going to jail. These guys play the internet tough guy line really well. Until, oh man. I mean, you know, when their target says one thing, one thing in return, they lose their ever-loving minds. But this right here, this has got to terrify him, because this lady, he said before that nobody outside of this would ever care about what happened there. No one would ever care. No one would ever take, you know, and look at this situation and even remotely believe her. But here's the thing. They have told us time and again to listen and believe. Now, you can't have it both ways. If you tell people that we have to listen and believe, now it's only selective listen and believe, mind you. You know, we're supposed to listen and believe when Preston says certain things, but you don't listen and believe when she says other things. Like the stuff about Cook, pretend that doesn't exist, okay? So listen and believe to what they want you to listen and believe. But the other stuff, yeah, no. Isn't that weird? Then we got today, okay, so we had a filing, of course. BBB had his filing. Now, the fascinating thing about the BBB filing isn't really it's not really the filing itself, but more of man, I need to redact that real quick. Let me redact something else again. All right. Well, I'll tell you about this while I'm redacting it. All right. Because in this, I'm going to redact portions. I have to, they love to cry about addresses and emails and more, but they love to leave all that shit in the filings. You know, they don't they don't do anything that they ever to protect any of these folks. You know, oh, there's Randy's email, for example. Oh, here's another guy from whatnot. You know, they throw these people in. So I'm redacting them real fast. But what would you find out in this stuff is you find out that Bruce contacted a little more than we thought. You know, there's a lot of names that come up. And yeah, you remember First of all, he had the contact off of the Randy email where he decided just on his own that he was going to make some pretty awful accusations. I mean, I'm sure you saw that stuff. Wait a minute. LaFontaine, huh? So give me 1 second. I'm almost through putting these in. I've left some of them. Like I said, I want you to see some of the people that are attached. And they're the whatnot folks. Because, I mean, there's an army of whatnot people in these emails. There's between the emails that you originally saw, the ones that you had John Cook put up on accident, and Bruce was mad about, by the way. You remember his big move? You know, the one that he was he's mad about that. I wonder if that's why John Cook is on his own, by the way. You know, when they were talking about John standing on his own. Now, that will probably, you watch them, they'll walk that back and be like, yeah, we never did that. You just wait. You just wait. But right now, as it is, they were leaving him on his own. But part of it was, again, they were mad at him because he went out and he dropped that that filing that apparently Bruce, he thought it was it was going to be his master stroke. But what it told you was that Bruce had communications with whatnot before. More communications, in fact, than we knew about. And what we're finding out, though, through all of this is there's not just all of these communications, all of these random emails and bullshit, but he reached out to him on his own. Again, there were more communications. Here we go. Took me a minute to redact all of that. There's a bunch of it. I mean, it's all madness, man. It is all freaking madness. You would think people that were in the middle of a bunch of BS, they would actually, they would try to hide what they were doing a little better. He also says, of course, there's a few parts of his new filing that I enjoyed, like the stuff about how he didn't actually try to set out. It's a conspiracy to say that he was trying to destroy Jeremy Hales. That's conspiratorial thinking. The what the Hales media ecosystem, that was nothing more than creating a marketplace of ideas. That was nothing more than that. It's all, oh my God, it's amazing. It is amazing to read through. All of the spin to it, the fact that it's a fantastical, check this out. I like this. Let me show you this first. This is out of whack a little bit, but it's like, he says the plaintiffs parlay one comment what the hell's media ecosystem into evidence of a fantastical conspiracy to destroy them. Yeah, like there's a person out there that wants to ruin their life. I mean, where would you get an idea like that from, right? I mean, it's almost like, I don't know, somebody had said that they wanted to destroy him. I mean, again, to destroy. Now that word right there, that's a fascinating word, right? Let me think back. Have we ever seen that word utilized before? Wait a minute. There's Bruce saying, I want to destroy this man and his YouTube empire. Holy shit. Fantastical my ass, Bruce. It's right here in your own freaking words, man. I do not like being gaslit, fool. I do not like being gaslit. He's like, it's a fantasy that Jeremy Hales has that people are trying to destroy him. He took this one comment. Oh, wait, there's more comments. My bad. Totally my bad. Oh, my God. I swear, man. If you're going to gaslight, at least gaslight people that don't keep receipts, man. You guys are not good at this. Did you tell your lawyer that you made statements about how you wanted to ruin this man's life? Surely, when this guy is in there, I think you wrote part of this, didn't you, Bruce? I think you wrote part of this. But, surely you told your brand new representative while he's standing out there. You didn't try to put the bozo wig on him right from go, did you? I mean, you did tell him about all of the messages, all of the stuff, especially with Shara. All the communications. I mean, you did tell them about that. Oh my God. It's amazing. I mean, when you have his own words, they're like, that's not us trying to destroy the man's life. We've never tried to do that at all. And so, what is this then, Bruce? What is this? Now, another person brought this up too. Okay, somebody else brought up a very fascinating little factoid. We find out from all of these communications that, we have, okay, check this out. So we have whatnot emails. Yeah. Now these whatnot emails, which we will look at in a minute. Look at all of, look, you have like a bunch of people on these emails. It's not like one person, like Mr. King, Amy, Logan. There's actually a couple of other names on there too. It's bizarre. That's what I wanted to show you with these communications. It's not just what's said, but it's also Bruce. Like it didn't stop where we thought the communication stopped. So give me 1 minute here. So the Exhibit A, I'm sure you remember this email right here. Now you notice this was to Evan, right? Remember the Cam, Mr. Cam. So I guess it's Evan Cam. This was the mailing that Bruce decided that he was going to respond to. Now, when he responded again, he decided to lay bare some pretty nasty claims, which you actually see brought up in this. To him, it's like, wait a minute. What in the world? Your client's scam of contracted litigation, your client's storylines, your client's litigation scam, filing a false affidavit. Not to mention, they didn't even underline, they should have, the certain type of predator here. I mean, that kind of stuff is bad news. But what I was surprised by actually wasn't just this. I thought that was, I thought there was an end to it. But what we find out is there was more writing, and this is to other people, because here's Cam. I didn't realize there was more. We had the Cam stuff, but we have Jules here, we have Amy here, we have Grant here. I mean, holy crap. like, oh man. Further to my prior emails, Attorney Shockett email to Mr. Moon, CCing me was his trick to get me respond. So then he could write the below email with all the red. What? What? So he went out after what? These are all whatnot people. He decided to engage them to note all of this crazy shit about Jeremy Hales to try to damage him. And who knows? I mean, I have no idea the levels of damage, by the way, but you can't tell me that none of this has done damage, because this kind of stuff does do damage. There's no way it hasn't. But when you look at this communication too, when you see how it pulls together, give me 1 second. All right. Wait 1 minute. Let me, crap, this thing is sticking. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to reload it. Stupid thing. I saw something I need to redact too. I hate these. You know, you in these too. These are public documents. So if something does not get redacted, it is. It wasn't my problem to redact it in the first place. But these assholes, like BBB, for example, my God, man, some of the stuff he pulls is nuts. I'm going to read you this communication. He included this. This is his exhibit, by the way. This is one of them, and we'll look at that. And we also have on top of that too. Remember, we had another communication as well. He included this. Actually, he didn't. Let me take that back. We had John Cook included. This is what he included. It's going to be a little blurry because I blew it up. I apologize. I still rated it here. But this is Bruce writing to someone else in there too. I mean, this stuff is nuts. This is the reason, again, I think, because this was supposed to be his big bombshell. I think that John Cook got left out in the cold. Honestly, but we'll get to that in a minute. I wanted to include that in there too. Oh my God, so much stuff, so much crazy, you know, so much crazy. So give me 1 minute. Let me pull that back up here. I cannot believe like how many just baloney freaking things. Like for me, for example, I can imagine contacting somebody's employer and trying to get them canned. But these people, that's something that Bruce is very comfortable with. You know, he's done that to people in Northport. He did that with Whatnot. And, you know, he tries to frame this as something else. But here, you know, remember, we have Randy Shockett. He puts Bruce on here, so he has the communication. Nobody can say things are going on behind the scenes that he doesn't know about. He's like, hello, Mr. Cam. I represent Jeremy Hales. Mr. Hales is a plaintiff in a federal lawsuit in which the defendants have requested that the agreements between my client and Whatnot be produced. The contract, as you know, requires the written consent Whatnot in order to be produced, and it also requires it to be produced pursuant to a court order. We don't have a court order, although I have suggested to my opponent, that would be Mr. Manskin, that we simply agree to such an order. There's been no proposed order. So he has requested that our firm draft a confidentiality agreement. We'll be doing that. We anticipate it be signed, but please be advised as to the written consent of Whatnot. He's telling them, basically, you know, if these guys contact you and they pretend that they have a court order, they don't. Number one, they have no right to do that. And he's letting Bruce know this. He's also not doing some backroom communication. I mean, again, you know, and Bruce has been contacting him. We find out on his own. Of course, he was doing that. And he was actually, here's the thing about Whatnot, by the way, Whatnot. This amazes me. If there's not a court order in, and you're talking about Jeremy Hales, there's a liability in that. There is 100% liability in that. They should not be discussing someone that's on their platform, period. These places, man. That's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. So they need to be careful about that. And that's what, you know, Randy's like, hey, by the way, this guy, he may try something like that. So Bruce wrote back and says, catch this here. He wrote back, I do not know what machinations you are orchestrating by copying me on this communication. I have no obligation to provide a proposed order of confidentiality, although I did. So he's telling him, hey, if you don't have a court order and you don't have a confidentiality, you don't agree to that, well then. That is interesting, isn't it? Because ultimately, without, I would not trust, even with confidentiality, I don't trust them not to leak anything. You know, the ecosystem is like a sieve. And again, when certain ones of these get in trouble, if they do, they will turn on each other. They will eat each other like piranha. So the idea that they won't turn on each other is crazy too. By the way, let me throw this out here too. If you would like to help out the channel, there are 2,750 of you. You have to excuse the gaps when I'm speaking to. Like I said, this medication racks me, man, some days. So it takes me a minute to find words sometimes. It has slowed me down, man. But it's creating an interesting speech pattern. You know, every few words like, But it's getting better. It is getting better. Although the pro se, pro bono, all of that stuff. You know, another thing that throws me sometimes, birthday song. Like I forget the lyrics to it. You would think that would never happen, but it feels like it's just buried in there. But anyway, I digress. If you'd like to help out the channel, then tell people we're live, first of all. Also, subscribe. Make sure that that's free. You know, you can like and subscribe. And on top of that, if you'd like to go further, you'd like to hit up Ye Olde Breadsticks, help out the channel. Oh, this stuff is crazy. It is entertaining. It is definitely something. It is definitely something. You know, it's funny too. They always talk about retaliatory lawsuits. That's what amazes me. They talk about how Jeremy Hales is this monster. He's doing all these things against their free speech. But by the way, they're going to retaliate with lawsuits. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You fucking clowns. You know? It's so strange to me. You should be in here. If you're not one of us, then we're going to sue you. We're going to sue everybody. We're going to sue the Facebookers. It's like, holy shit, man. What a bunch of loons. But anyway, let's read this together. Although I did specifically provide a stipulation to maintain confidentiality in writing. But you ignored that because your proposal has been to exploit, or your purpose rather, I said propose. Your purpose has been to exploit the issue of the production of this contract for as long as possible in order to waste time and create issues for court motions to generate YouTube content. By the way, this is the guy who delayed a case 5 months, and every chance they get, they have delayed Fed action too. They had the Stark lawsuits just sit. They just sit for nothing. Like Trespass 5 made no sense whatsoever. The way that the people that were involved had no idea. I would ask, I asked Travis, I was curious about this. I was like, dude, do you know anything about what's happening with Trespass 5? You know, do you have any clue whatsoever? I'm talking about before it was dropped, right? He was like, I don't know. I have no idea. What is going on with this litigation? The only reason that it moved forward, that anything happened whatsoever, is because Randy decided that he would go on the offensive and he would say, okay, well, we have this lawsuit, then we want access to your client here. Now, of course, they didn't want that. They didn't want that at all. They were afraid that if Stark was up there, see, that's the problem with their puppet lawyers. That's a real problem with some of their stuff. If they put up a puppet lawyer, and this puppet lawyer has to ask questions, what keeps this puppet lawyer from being absolutely shredded? Like Stark would have, I mean, that would have been a nightmare for them. He would have made a real mess. You know? The shit fit and the obstinance and the interference coming from Bruce, that wouldn't have been there. You would have had her wide open. And you know how she is wide open. So that ended up getting dropped. But I mean, it just shows you. I mean, they talk about wasting time, creating issues for court motions, you know, creating YouTube content. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, these clowns, again, they have fallen in line with a serial filer who loves to try to shut down. Man, you talk about, I have got a hold of one of the other lawsuits where this person tried to shut down someone else that, well, I don't want to ruin it, but you should see what they sued them over. You'd find that to be pretty fascinating too. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue this. Mr. Cam should know that you are dragging him and his company into your client's scam of contrived litigation to create YouTube content for your client's storylines. Now, right here, this should have been a reaction from the from oh my God, what a mess. It should have been. It should have been. Hey, John, what's up, man? You back again? It's good to see you, brother. You missed the crazy lady that came in and said she was going to sue us all because she got called an idiot. I swear, I don't know how you don't love that stuff, man. I don't know how you don't love it, brother. I do have, by the way, John, I have something else I've been working on. It's taken me a month to put together, but next week I'm going to drop. I'm going to unload a bombshell on something else. I've been working on it for a freaking month with somebody. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be attached to the Blake Lively stuff. You watch. It's taking a month of digging, but it'll be fun. You'll like that one. Anyway, so Mr. Cam should know your client's scam of contrived litigation to create YouTube content for your client's storylines. Mr. Cam may be interested to learn that it's part of your and your client's litigation scam that you're now trying to involve whatnot in. He committed perjury to trick the federal court into exercising jurisdiction by filing a false affidavit stating my client made and were making, quote, online posts calling him a child predator constantly, ongoing to this day, and that his counsel, you did nothing to confirm whether there were any such online posts before you signed the motion opposition that relied on the perjured statement. I would think any company would want to know if one of their prominent customers who regularly promotes his business with them is falsely using it to support fake lawsuits. I invite Mr. Cam to reply here, stating whether he or anyone at Whatnot has any information about either of my clients, John Cook or Michelle Preston, contacting Whatnot, or anyone else contacting Whatnot for the purpose of attempting to interfere with Jeremy Hales / what the hell's business with Whatnot. If Mr. Cam, also, we do have an answer with that too. Remember, we did get a letter for that. So Bruce is filing where he tries to work that out. You check this stuff out. It's good how it comes together. If Mr. Cam or someone on behalf of Whatnot would call me so I may inquire about that single question, I think there would be no need for me to subpoena him or Whatnot for documents or deposition. Mr. Cam may reach me at redacted if he prefers. I invite him to call me along with Whatnot's legal representative. You know how this goes. You've seen this kind of stuff. So again, you have the chain. Like again, when you look at it, you have Bruce here too, another person. Please see below emails to Mr. Cam. Please have Whatnot's representative contact me as indicated below. Huh. So he's reaching out to more people. I mean, it's nuts, right? Here, he messaged yet another couple of parties. You can see right there as well. So he didn't just reach out to that one guy, just to make that clear. He reached out to multiple people with that. And then, like I said, on top of it too, with the John Cook. Where'd he go? There it is. Found it. Give me 1 second. There it is. Again, this is a little blurry. You can see there. But here was Bruce. Again, this is from the same dude. They were talking about specific items there. And they were talking about John Cook and Michelle Preston. Now, as far as that is concerned, what they do note here there has been user reports. Now they say, oh, well, there's not a specific account named John Cook or Michelle Preston. But there have been accounts that have said, well, because of Michelle Preston, we're doing this. And there are plenty of screenshots where these people talk about it outside of it. So you don't just need contact with this where he admits it. You have other people that regularly admit that they have written in, that they have tried to disrupt and more. So that, I mean, again, this is a brand new filing that includes that. Now, this filing, this is Fed 2. This came up last night is what it was. This is not today. It's like in the middle. When I say yesterday, okay, first of all, I'm going to say it came up yesterday, but this came up in the middle of the night last night. I mean, it's wild, man. It is wild. So wild. Oh, give me a second here. Let me put that there. So, again, when it says the second, I want you to understand this happened. This popped up. Give me a second. I can tell you exactly. Just give me a minute. It was late, like late last night. Let me see. Because I wrote it down. I was like, what the world? How late is this stuff coming up? Yeah, so it popped up at almost, it was like 8:45 that it, no, wait, I take that back. It was later than that. Here it is. My bad. I looked at the wrong one. It was at 10:15 rather that it popped up right in there. 10:15 last night. So it popped up right toward the end of live streaming. I thought that was, like I said, I thought that was pretty crazy. Give me 1 minute. Lost the chat there. All right. Now this, again, is BBB's motion to dismiss the plaintiff's amended motion. Again, remember, this is federal case 2. I know there are a lot of cases to keep up with, but this is him. Remember, he is no longer a lawyer. He's not representing these folks. This is his filing. So this is him talking about why he should not be part of this. He's asking for the court to dismiss counts 5 and count 7 of the plaintiff's amended complaint for failure to state claims. So let's see, where is okay, background. That'd be number 1. All facts recited here are taken from the plaintiff's amended complaint. As required by the motion to dismiss standard, are in no way ceded to be true. So he's saying, hey, these are just from the background itself. Okay, so in Hales versus Preston et al., court noted that every motion or filing in this case seems to beget another motion or filing. Isn't that fascinating? So he's talking about another case in which he skipped out on, weirdly enough. That's strange. 3 weeks prior to the court making that observation, Hales begat this case. This case, he's talking about again. He's talking about motion begat motion, and it did. I mean, who was doing that? Who was the culprit for that? I wonder. I wonder indeed. I do. I wonder indeed. So, about 3 weeks prior, got this case. The case is the latest development in a years-long saga that has spawned multiple state proceedings. Wait. Multiple state proceedings, federal lawsuit, and it's yes, okay, so let's talk about those. You make it sound like those are all Hales filings. That's the weird thing about that. That's very deceptive in the way that's written out, isn't it? So we have multiple state court proceedings. What came up in this state level? Well, of course, we have our or orders of protection. But beyond the orders of protection, we had the trespass fine. We had the thumbnail litigation. And you know what's weird? If we go back and we look at the thumbnail, or rather the federal case number 1, and them talking about the thumbnail litigation, they act like the thumbnail litigation is somehow his, like Jeremy's, because he decided that he would go for sanctions. So somehow in that becomes his issue. It's the strangest thing, you know, when you look at that. So again, we're just going to say Hales here alleges that they operate a social media business to generate revenue through the publication of open video diary, Jeremy Hale's lives. They also sell items, you know, through salvage, let's just say. So the plaintiff is alleged. I am shortening a few sentences. That way I can roll through faster. The plaintiff is alleged 2020 that Lynette Preston, she hatches a scheme to get money from him, relocates to Otter Creek, Florida, try to carry this out. When she gets there, she begins asking for Jeremy Hale's help. Various matters. Hales obliged her at several occasions before saying no to requests he deemed unreasonable. And he would have right to do that, would he not, by the way? Here's a question. Do you think it's unreasonable to say no? Because sometimes I get this idea that they think it's unreasonable to have gotten a no. Now, after he began saying no, as allegedly began making defamatory statements, social media, May 2023, this kicks off a long saga between Preston, Cook, Hales, spanning 2 states, multiple and involving multiple social media commentators. Multiple. So are we all? Here's the thing too. Bruce, I think he's, you know, he's still, I think, going to try to sue people. But at the same time, he's wrapped himself up in this little quandary in defending the people that he wants in there. Some of these people do some awful stuff, by the way. He has to talk about everyone being a journalist. Everyone. In fact, he sent out an email the other day talking about that. I covered it last night. It was kind of fascinating, you know. But March the 3rd, 2024, Hales sued Preston and Cook in court for a variety of claims. Defendant Manskin applied for permission to appear pro Hackvice September the 4th, 2024. Court grants that. Litigation did not proceed smoothly. It didn't proceed smoothly. You don't say, man. You don't say. That's the hilarious stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love the fact that they're like, you know, we're going to throw this understatement of the century in here, by the way. Resulted in bitter and contentious discovery disputes, and even necessitated the courts supervising the remainder of Hale's deposition. He tries to make it sound like, you know, that he is, it's nothing to do. You notice again how the wording. Now, it'll be interesting to see how this plays with the same judge. This judge, like I said, if he kicks these guys loose, I think there's some appealable issues in this case too. He may kick some people loose. You never know. He may kick them all loose. You don't know. He may take them all down. Who knows? You never know how they'll go forward. But I think this judge, in mentioning other litigation and mentioning how things have gone, he has created some issues, some real issues. He did nothing about Bruce. I mean, Bruce is filing here as a litigant now, and we still don't have an answer to all the bullshit that he pulled before. If we get an answer to any of Bruce's filings before any kind of issue is handed down, that will look like an extreme case of bias if something comes down in his favor. It will. I mean, you would think the judge would think, hey, even granting him extensions or anything else could be perceived like that. Because again, this guy middle fingered the court, middle fingered the judge, decided not to show up. There you are. I think it's creating some issues there. So again, you don't know how it'll go forward. But I think even if it goes their way 100%, that some of his statements have created some issues. Now, the plaintiff subsequently filed this action February. Oh, wait. Make sure I didn't miss anything there. Okay. February 23rd, 2025, claiming, amongst other things, that Manskin had tortiously interfered with business relationships through various public comments about the pending legal matters and has been involved in a civil conspiracy with other defendants in this matter. They filed an amended complaint. You know how that's gone. Now, the legal standard, they talk about Federal Civil Procedure 12B6 motion challenges the legal sufficiency of the complaint. To decide it, the court accepts factual allegations of the complaint as true and considers whether they are sufficient to state a claim to relief that is plausible on its face. Yes. While detailed, factual allegations are not required. Bare labels and conclusions. I love this. You mean the kind of stuff like BBB got problems with? You know, he was like, that judge, he's so terrible. When I went out and I put in my statements and this stuff came up then, that was a problem. But now, oh my God, I love it. I love it. Oh yeah, this here's another thing too. Janice, by the way, if has he been banned? Did they ban his whole channel? Did they ban him for real? I haven't checked. I didn't check that. Let me see. No, his channel's still there. His channel's still there. He's had video removal though. But if he is ban evading, then yes, if he is banned at this time, then anything that he currently appears on, if he is during a ban, then that would be a problem for him. So I was like, I didn't think his channel itself had been hanging down there. So, God, that cracks me up. Remember again the discovery issues that came up for him. He decided to use a formulaic recitation. He decided he would go with everything, but general labels. Now it's a problem. Remember, he defended that forever. Instead, plausibility requires the plaintiffs to plead factual content that allows the court to draw reasonable inference that the defendant is liable for the misconduct alleged. Determining whether a claim is plausible is content-specific task that requires the court to draw on its judicial experience and common sense. Now, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12D also recognizes a situation where it's appropriate to present matters outside the complaint. If, on a motion of 12B6, matters outside the pleading are presented to and not excluded by the court, the motion must be treated as one for summary judgment under Rule 50. On the sidewalk. Huh? What'd you call
daddy long leg?
Oh, don't yell. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, let me look at it real quick.
It's so cool. And it caught on the sidewalk. It's the one spider I can hold.
Yeah, he's looking good, too. It's a small one.
Yeah. I was afraid it wasn't, so I decided to come check with you.
It is. It's a daddy long leg. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I thought it was, and I was like, huh.
You know, in the South, the thing we call a daddy long leg is not really a daddy long leg. It's another kind of spider.
Yeah, I know.
I
just call them spiders because it's easier.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's one you can tell from his. If you look at his front.
That means I can handle him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can't bite or anything like that.
Yeah. He's like.
He's small though. Hey, unlike the really big ones. Remember, if you you grab him by the leg, like he'll be able to reach around and touch your arm and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, like,
I know.
don't
But,
freak out about it.
I can hold him on my hand and he will not bite. This
Yeah.
is phenomenal.
Okay. All right.
Mom's
Have fun
scared
with
of
it.
it though. She's a scared cat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're all going to be scaredy cats of him. She's out on a bug hunt. I know. She's out there. She ran off already, Bonnie. I was going to tell her that she got some. So she's excited right now. She's been outside. We put out a few things for the for insects. She likes catching them. So we put out. We had a watermelon the other day, and we'll take the watermelon, move it away from the house, because it'll attract flying. The flying insects are the worst, but you can attract beetles and other stuff like that too. So you put it in something where it doesn't fill up with water in the bottom, but something won't escape from it. It can still shade in a little bit so it doesn't cook it in the sun or anything, and just see what you catch. So she likes to go out and catch the, Oh, we have rocks around the house too. Well, that's what she's been out flipping rocks. They found a snake the other day. I think I told you all about that there. It's like, yeah, I mean, to be careful. Right here, we don't get any poisonous snakes. We haven't, there's now we do have some trees and stuff, like some pretty overgrown area back away from our house where we used to live. We get a lot of water moccasins, get those copperheads, stuff like that. But she's too young to remember all that. Now we get all pretty safe ones. She lost that stuff. Anyway, here we go. So the 11th Circuit, however, has recognized an exception to this rule, though, and has held that a court may consider documents outside the pleading without converting 12b6 motion into a motion for summary judgment if, 1, the document is central to the plaintiff's claims, and 2, the authenticity of the document is unchallenged. If the court treats this motion as one for summary judgment is appropriate when the movement shows that there is no genuine dispute as to the material fact, as the movement is entitled to judgment as a matter of law. A genuine dispute exists, quote, if the evidence is such that a reasonable fact finder could return a verdict for the non-moving party. Facts are material if they form disputes that are not relevant or unnecessary and may potentially affect the outcome of the suit. So let's see what's here. So the argument, count 5 fails to state a claim upon which relief may be granted. And the alternate, Manskin is entitled to summary judgment on it. So under Florida law, the elements of tortious interference with business relationships are 1, the existence of business relationship, knowledge of the relationship on the part of the defendant, intentional and unjustifiable interference with the relationship, and damage to the plaintiff as a result of the breach of the relationship. As discussed below, plaintiff's tortious interference claim fails for number 1. The plaintiff failed to allege sufficient facts to show business relationships with prospective customers under Florida law. 2, plaintiff failed to allege any facts that show that Manskin's alleged conduct or speech caused a breach. I swear to God, man, this guy includes emails where he is. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. We will see. We'll see what it does, right? We will see. The plaintiff failed to plead sufficient facts to show a breach of any relationship with another specific business entity. Tortious interference does not exist when an internet platform makes editorial decisions protected by Section 230 Communications Decency Act. Tortious interference does not exist when an internet platform makes editorial decisions. We'll have to see. What editorial decision are we talking about? Manskin is entitled to qualified privilege for his statements to whatnot. Oh, well, he has qualified privilege, Your Honor. He's allowed to say anything that would wreck your business because, hey, he was out here participating as a quote-unquote lawyer. I swear, if they play that game, oh man. You know, what that tells you is, I mean, some of these lawyers do some nasty bullshit under guise of, I'm just being a lawyer. I mean, it was bad enough to have sanctions come down. Although the judge still hasn't done anything about that. The judge should have taken those seriously too. I mean, if you're out there, you're writing a company and being like, yo, this guy's full of shit. This guy's all that. Oh, by the way, I'm conducting this as a lawyer. Are you kidding me? I've read lawyer statements to Disney, Warner Brothers, all these other companies. I've never seen lawyers act like this. You know, it's statements of opinion and hyperbole are entitled to First Amendment protections and are not unactionable. Remember, this guy is like, I'll sue you over calling me an ambulance chaser. That's actionable, but everything he does, you know, let me build up this thing to destroy people's lives. That's not. And the plaintiffs have made themselves public figures for First Amendment purposes and fail to show actual malice. Okay, we'll see how that goes. So, the plaintiff fails to allege sufficient facts to show business relationships with prospective customers under Florida law. So again, they're arguing here that there's not enough showcased with losses to say that there's an actual relationship. I don't want to read this whole damn page. It's so boring. So what this is saying here is that you have to meet specific requirements under Florida law to say that these contracts exist. They're not showing enough to say that these contracts actually exist. So, implicit in these allegations is that Manskin somehow interfered with business relationships with prospective customers and fans, but the allegations are insufficient to show this relationship required by, again, Florida law to proceed on this theory. You know, so that's what this is all about. This is about Florida law. This is about proof of business relationship. You have to show the business relationship exists. Specific. Again, if you want to read all of that, there's 42 pages of this. So if you want to detail every single page of that, have at it. It is definitely not exciting reading, but you can look at the Florida law under that. You can also go back and look at arguments that Randy has posed talking about the requirements to showcase business relationships under Florida law, and you can see what you think about that. Now, the plaintiff failed to allege any facts that show any of Manskin's alleged conduct or speech caused a breach in their relationships with any customers. So they're saying, hey, you know, whatever he did out there, though, where's the issue? Because again, they're saying, this is their argument, just noting that it requires plaintiffs to prove a business relationship with identifiable customers. They must also allege sufficient facts that they show a breach in the relationship occurred and that the breach in the relationship was caused by Manskin's conduct. That would be tortious interference. Now, the plaintiff's amended complaint is bereft of any allegations identifying any customers. So they're saying, hey, you know, you can't prove any customers were there that were actually damaged by all of this. And the numbers, they note the numbers. The plaintiffs claim that Manskin caused them $1.229 million in damages because of alleged interference. And they predicate that claim a loss of revenue streams that would have otherwise remained or retained absent his interference. They do not identify what they are. So again, they're arguing, you didn't prove that those exist. You didn't prove that he damaged that. That's the entire argument with that. I didn't want to read 10 pages talking about how that is, you know. And Skin does not suggest that this is a high bar, but it's not too much to ask at the pleading stage for the plaintiffs to identify at least one subscriber or customer that has stopped doing business with plaintiffs because of Manskin's alleged conduct. This is particularly true when the plaintiffs boast of a subscriber base of 730,000 people across the world. Yeah, yeah. You got this big platform out there, therefore. The reason dictates one of two conclusions in the plaintiff's allegations are true. First, Manskin alleged tortious interference was so harmful in the aggregate that the plaintiffs become inundated with cancellation requests and lost customers who blame Manskin's alleged interference for ending their relationships with plaintiffs. If that is true, then the plaintiff should have no problem showing that. Second, if the havoc allegedly wreaked by Manskin exceeds $1 million and is not caused by aggregate effect, then the plaintiff should have no problem identifying the particular relationships that were ended because of that and cost so much money. They've done neither. That's what the argument is there. Again, it points to a third reason. The plaintiffs cannot identify that because it didn't happen. Their claim failed. Again, that's the argument through that. Now, additionally, they're going to bring up some other folks too. Yeah, right here too. Like Hale, for example. Additionally, the court should be incredibly cautious about permitting the plaintiffs to proceed on their claims, since the defendants are already in the process of showing that the plaintiffs have selectively crafted their allegations to omit context and facts that contradict their theories. For instance, defendant Hale has already shown the court that the plaintiffs' selective pleading presented a false statement and was engineered to survive a motion. Oh man, actually, what's interesting, so there's a little issue in the way that is set up. I wonder if I've got that here. Let me see. So, one second. If you go back and you talk about where they flag, let me see. So, in MLS, when MLS comments were shown, it says they were talking about a different picture. Well, that's because the comments were made at 1:05:28, but not put up on the screen till 1.5 minutes later at 1:06:53. So at the time, the comments were talking about the ARPist sign. So when you look at, when you actually look at MLS's comments, what they're trying to say, again, well, if you look at what's being discussed, then, well, if you actually check out the transcript and you check out the timeline to it, what you find is that there's a little issue of them. It's kind of like this. When I pull up a screenshot, sometimes I'll have that thing up here for a while. Right. And I talk about quite a bit, like a few other things. You know, I may forget it's up there and I may leave a super chat or something. I may leave it up for a long time. You know, I mean, that happens quite a bit. So if you pointed to a minute before that, well, of course, I might be talking about something else. That doesn't negate with a conversation, just pointing to a different place. So if they actually look at the transcript itself, I think they can blow a hole in what Hale talks about there. Maybe Hale needs to go and look at that again, you know? Just saying. Just saying. Now, again, we'll see. We'll see how that claim actually survives. If it does stick around, but anyway. Manskin shows that that below the plaintiffs have omitted critical context. In other words, the plaintiff's deliberate choice to omit critical context to nudge meritless claims past a motion to dismiss cast doubt on the reasonableness of inferring that they will be able to identify specific customers later on. So it doesn't matter what I did there. You can't prove it. So the plaintiffs failed to plead sufficient facts to show a breach of any relationship with another specific business entity, and they deliberately omitted the context of Manskin's communications with Whatnot to hide their own attorney's role in provoking Manskin's comments. Look, this is what I loved this. So it's actually Randy's fault. It's Randy's fault that Bruce did what he did. Are you fucking kidding me? That is nuts. So the plaintiffs, again, they talk about, I'm skipping down through here, though, because there's a lot of blah, blah, blah before you get to the part of him discussing things. What about Whatnot Inc.? Like other companies, plaintiff failed to allege any breach in their business relationship with Whatnot Inc. They simply alleged that on February 17th, 2025, Manskin allegedly contacted and made false statements to them as part of a malicious conspiracy to damage their business relationship. More on that in a moment. The plaintiffs did not allege that Manskin's alleged conduct caused a breach in their relationship with Whatnot Inc., or that Whatnot suspended or otherwise restricted their use of Whatnot to hold online auctions, and describing how they sell items on Whatnot auctions. Instead, if the court clicks on the link that plaintiffs provided their Whatnot, the court will see that they are still using Whatnot to host auctions and giveaways. In fact, when the undersigned checked on June 1st, had 26 auctions. So, nothing in this suggests that. If the court, however, is inclined to give the plaintiff the benefit of an inference, it should think twice about whether such an inference is reasonable. The plaintiff selectively pled their allegations about his conduct and Whatnot to omit the entire context. Oh, well, let's find out about that. Because reality, it tells a different story. So on February the 17th, during the course of discovery dispute, plaintiff's counsel Randy Shockett emails Whatnot about the confidentiality clause in the contract and asked if they would consent to the contract being disclosed to Manskin. He copied Manskin on the email. In this, Shockett made comments that Manskin viewed as misrepresenting their discussions and unfairly besmirching him to Whatnot Inc. Wow, wait. Let me pull this up again. Let me say unfairly besmirching him. Let's look at the comments again. Let's read this out. It's a fast read, right? It's really easy. So he says, Mr. Cam, represent Jeremy Hales. Mr. Hales, plaintiff, federal lawsuit. Defendants have requested agreements between my client, Whatnot be produced. Contracts, as you know, require written consent, Whatnot, in order to be produced, and also requires it to be produced pursuant to court order. We currently don't have a court order, although I suggested to my opponent, who is copied here, that we should simply agree to such an order. There's been no proposed agreement to the order. He has requested that our firm draft a confidentiality agreement. We'll be doing so next week. We anticipate this to be signed, but please be advised as to the written consent of Whatnot. Thank you. Any questions? Where the fuck is the insult here? Where is the insult? You tell me. You show me the insult. I'm very confused on that. Because what is insulting here? In what way whatsoever? Hey, I told my opponent here, I told them that we should just agree to it, but there's no agreement. Okay, they've said we should draft a confidentiality agreement. We'll be doing that next week. We'll be doing that this week. So, I'm going to be advised about consent. There is none so far. Thank you. I made sure to conclude them on that. Oh my God, he was gaslit into acting like an asshole and trying to blow up their. Are you kidding me? That is misrepresentative as hell, man. God, I would blow you up for that in a filing. That's nuts, man. So, I mean, look at this. He emails Shockett a forceful response, copies Whatnot. You saw what he alleges in that. The response called Shockett out for discovery misconduct, framed what he perceived as Jeremy Hale's litigation abuses, and invited Whatnot to discuss the issues. So, not about a contract, he decides he wants to litigate a case to Whatnot. How are you not trying to fuck up their relationship? How is that not, again, that's not, it's to avoid subpoenas and depots. So you threaten them too. You were like, if you don't, then. He put in the bottom of his note, by the way, he said, I invite Mr. Kim, or Cam rather, to call me along with Whatnot legal representative to forward my name, number to the appropriate person. An informal call should be all that's necessary to avoid further involvement in this nonsense. If you're trying to, that you're trying to cause with your email. Again, threats. He threatened them. Shockett responded by accusing Manskin of tortiously interfering. Yes, you're fucking with their business. But he's like, that's not what happened. What in the world? You are nuts. He says, if you properly contextualize, this is the kind of shit Bruce pulls all the time, man. All the time. And you know why he pulled it? Because he can get away with it. He's gotten away with it so many times. It's crazy, man. But they're like, oh, you don't really understand. That is nuts, isn't it? Tortious interference does not exist when an internet platform makes editorial decisions. Let's see. What are the editorial decisions we're discussing? The court recognized even if the defendants had persuaded Twitter to ban. So even if I get them banned, it's actually, we're immune to that because it's their decision. That's funny. Remember how Paint Chips is saying that if people take down his channel and stuff, he's going to sue the shit out of him. So again, which is it? But they're saying, if we get him banned, we destroy your business there. Yeah. You do realize that there have been cases where people have gone out, they have mass flagged, they have caused damage to business, because that's what it is. YouTube contract, that is a business relationship, and there have been lawsuits that have been successful in that too. But they say, well, with Lulyer, nope, that's the case. So even if we manage to get him banned from something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What a fucking crazy thing. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. That's nuts. That is nuts. It's like, you can't. So that's what all this is about. If we manage to get you banned, then it doesn't matter. That's on the platform. Fuck you. People just look for reasons. Don't even deny it. Be like, if we did it, who cares, right? So he states qualified privilege for Whatnot. Again, Florida law recognizes qualified privilege for attorneys who make statements during ex parte out of court questioning. Yeah, there are certain statements that get people in trouble too when they make them ex parte. So pretending, again, if you go and you make statements that do damage, you can have you can have that either stripped away, or you can say it falls outside the bounds of it. So that would be a decision in that too. Because just being an attorney by itself does not give you the right to blow up somebody's business and then to hide behind that. That's what all this is about, by the way. But it's so crazy. He's like, oh, well, this is all heated. That's how it all happened. Thus, Manskin, he's good to go. He's absolutely good to go. What a piece of shit, man. What an absolute piece of garbage. His statements and opinion are hyperbole and are entitled to First Amendment protections, not actionable. The First Amendment provides protection for rhetorical hyperbole. They love that rhetorical hyperbole. Everything's rhetorical hyperbole, by the way. This rule provides assurance that public debate will not suffer for a lack of imaginative expression or rhetorical hyperbole, which has traditionally added much of the discourse of our nation. It reflects the reality that exaggeration and non-literal comments I want to blow your business up. I want to fuck up your life. Oh, no, that's all good to go. That's non-literal. I want to ruin your business. I want to destroy your business. Oh, my God. The determinative statement is protected in rhetorical hyperbole The 11th Circuit has instructed courts to consider the circumstances in which the statement was expressed. Courts typically look for a sort of loose, figurative language that no reasonable person would believe represented facts. So, Worsley itself shed some light on where this is. On TV talk show, pro-life advocate accused TV host Geraldo Rivera of being accomplice. Oh gosh, this is an abortion case, so that is total. It totally sets up the same, right? Because they say it's accomplice to homicide, therefore. Yeah, when you're like, I want to destroy your business. I want to fuck up your business. Yeah, that's the same, right? I tell you, man, these people, their arguments. I hope you did show them everything. Likewise, the First Amendment protects statements of pure opinion. Yes, that's true, actually. Pure opinion. The mixed expression of opinion occurs when opinion and comment is made and based upon facts regarding the plaintiff or his conduct that have not been stated in the publication or assumed to exist by parties in the communication. Also considered, this is the same guy again, ambulance chaser. They are all shilling a woman trying to sue people online for saying that she looks like a clown and a muppet and an idiot. She's an idiot. Are you fucking kidding me? You don't get it both ways, man. It's so bizarre. So again, First Amendment, They're also like, they should have put in the contact with the anti-Semitic twinge. They should have put in how this had also led to them trying to contact the ADL. Actually, they did contact the ADL, try to burn its business down with it. So, so they go through. Oh man, accusing people of cyber stalking. Boy, that's just opinion. All right, well, but ambulance chasing is not right. The one testicle thing. He's a homophobe. I just call him anything. I mean, hey. I'm surprised we don't have an argument of it was rhetorical hyperbole to call somebody a PDF file. I'm surprised we didn't have that. So again, he's saying all of his statements here, those all fall under free speech. The plaintiff has made himself public figures. So again, you have to show actual malice. That's what all of this is going to be about. It's arguing actual malice. We have public figures, two types, general, limited. Again, a general public figure are individuals who, by reason of fame or notoriety in a community, will in all cases be required to prove actual malice. Limited purpose are limited public figures, on the other hand, are individuals who have thrust themselves forward in a particular public controversy and are therefore required to prove actual malice. Remember, some of these people say that they aren't limited public figures, remember? But you see that. What are they? Well, they thrust themselves forward in a particular public controversy. You mean all of those there? So they say, he's a public figure, therefore. Everything, you have to prove actual malice. You have to take them to that level of statement again. You also have to bring in the fact of Lynette Preston and John Cook and the legal matters. Everything he's saying, it's all commentary and otherwise. Count 7 fails to state a claim upon which relief may be granted. And the alternative, Manskin, is entitled to summary judgment. So he's like, hey, under this, again, give me summary judgment. I know I'm skipping over that. We'd be sitting here all day reading this, and it is a boring freaking filing. Some of that's good. Some of it should be boring, but some of this isn't boring. That's why we went over it too, because I was like, what in the world? Are you kidding me? Did you just try to say that your communications with whatnot, you were insulted, therefore? 11th Circuit in the Florida Senate Bar, civil conspiracy claims against attorneys acting within the scope of attorney-client relationships. So, again, We were in attorney-client relationships. Therefore, I'm unprotected. I can do whatever I want. I'm good to go. What a piece of shit, man. What a piece of garbage. Look at this stuff. I mean, when he describes himself, and his timeline is also fascinating. So he was retained in March 27th, 2024. That's his date, right? Now, this was actually kind of interesting considering some of the stuff that he got up to in that time period. So, you remember, let's see. 1 minute here. Find something. You know, he's talked about too. First of all, his involvement. when they talk about his involvement and why he got involved, you got to remember one of the things in that is he told us that he got involved so he could delay the case. He said that, you know, first of all, he helped write a particular motion. That particular motion, that would have been before he had a contract involvement, which that's its own little thing there too. He said, I have a lot of context. Where did that? Let's see. He said, this motion, which I, you know, the cat's out of the bag, provided to Michelle Preston and John Cook to file, I say, in Florida. That would have been before. He says, yep, we filed that in March. It stopped the lawsuit in its tracks for 5 months. It's interesting. So your date's a little bit, it's a little weird, isn't it? Maybe there should be something brought up about that too. He actually decided that he would get involved even before they had contracts. Didn't disclose it. But it is fascinating to find out a date that he was supposedly retained on. That way you have a way to lock some of that down. Claimed to not plead sufficient facts. Again, the Lanham Act. I don't know a lot about the Lanham Act. You know, the Lanham Act is something that's a new ball game. I talk about, again, I'm just skipping through. You know, I would recommend you read everything in this thing. But a lot of this is about the Lanham Act, which is about competitive practices. Essentially, people opened up a competitive product. They opened up a YouTube in which it's a business dedicated to destroying someone else, destroying their business. Now, again, free speech. The plaintiff fails to state a claim for tortious interference or agreement to commit it between Manskin or anyone else. Yeah, you know, remember too, the anti-what-the-hales media ecosystem. Here we are. Let's check this out. Manskin's comments is in line with his principles. It's all his principles. As his declaration indicates, he saw what he perceived to be an onslaught of distasteful cyberbullying carried on by the plaintiffs towards his clients, and he responded by injecting the counter viewpoint into the marketplace of ideas. His comment about creating an anti-what-the-hales media ecosystem, it was nothing more than creating a marketplace of ideas for Preston's. I swear, you get kicked loose, then we need to create. I'm going to create an Bruce Manskin media ecosystem. I swear, if that works, then what you have told me is it's totally okay, because all I'm doing in there is I'm watching what I perceive to be a distasteful cyberbully go and aim at these poor people out here. These people that are not able to defend themselves because all you do is write other people and try to run folks off. Therefore, when I talk about creating an anti-media ecosystem, you see how crazy that sounds? Do you think if we talked about having an anti-Bruce Manskin media ecosystem, do you think that he wouldn't try to sue you and say, oh man, that's not protected by First Amendment rights? Holy shit. What a nut. He said that mentioning that his wife had she had a schedule still out there, that was terrible enough to run him off a case. It was monstrous and all this other shit. But interference, remember, nothing mattered, nothing mattered, because he was just injecting himself into the marketplace of ideas. Now, again, you have your certificates and all that good stuff too. Yeah. So that's 41 or 42 pages, I believe. 42 pages. You should read it yourself. I just wanted to read you some select portions of it. I didn't want to spend 3 hours boring myself to tears. Some parts, again, and to be fair, like legal documents, they shouldn't be boring. You're supposed to, some of the arguments in here are garbage arguments, though. They are gaslighting techniques, they feel like. It's actually that guy over there's fault. I'm not responsible. Let's read some super chats, man. Let's go through some stuff. Give me 1 second, too. Let me make sure. I saw some Muppet requests. I've not been on the. I will see if I have some time to do some. We'll see. Yeah. Elsie, thanks for the 10 there. 33 days post total knee replacement. Walked my first mile today. Congratulations, man. That's great. So it's great. Having you and Megan to look forward to. The evenings has helped break up the boredom of not being at work. Love you too. Thanks. Hey, love to you. And that is big time. That is big time. Props to you. I love hearing good news like that. Look at your first mile. That's rough. That's rough stuff. So again, props to you. Max. What's up, Max Lab? Thanks for the 2 there. Hey, Tug. Hey yourself, bud. Thank you for the documents. Thank you for entertainment too, my friend. Appreciate you, buddy. Fallen Hero. Thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you very much, Fallen Hero. Much appreciated there too. Lori, thanks for 10 giftos as well. Look at that, 11 giftos dropping in there. Thank you, Fallen Hero. Thank you, Lori. Man, I love watching those fall in. Been a bunch of them. Appreciate you there. Risa, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Well, thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tug's Thugs. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Jack's mom, thanks for the 2. Don't forget Crook. I thanked her too. Oh my God. I love it. I love the fact. I need that screenshot of John Cook thanking Lisa, by the way, for helping with filings, because that's great. That is great. I need that screenshot to pull up here. I don't think I've saved that. Somebody send that to me real quick. Max Lab, thanks for the 2 there too. Yeah, judge only gave her 21 days. You're correct. It is. You knew they would give extended amounts of time, though. You knew they would give them more time. Just because. I mean, it always goes with that. Linda, thanks for the 30 there. How in the world can this keep getting deeper? Oh, every day, man. Every day. It's some stupid, isn't it? Lab, thanks for the 2. Just spit out my drink. I get you on that. Got that lawyer going on. Legal. What about Lisa Lee? Ain't my legal name. Signed Lisa Lee. That is funny, by the way. So yeah, that is something I didn't bring that up here. So the if you notice in the judge's decision, the judge says that Lisa Lee is not her name. I mean, you did catch that, right? Lisa Weeks is her name. So why exactly is she signing Lisa Lee? And that is a good question, right? I mean, if you look at this, I mean, again, to quote the judge on that, because the judge noted plaintiff's amended complaint identifies this defendant as Lisa Weeks, but I mean, she goes back and forth, right? She is actually Lisa Lee. That is who she is now. Okay. So that is to clarify. She is Lisa Lee. She is not Lisa Weeks. All right. So that is her name on that. But it's funny. What's beautiful is she's also legal. She knows best. So she's going to get all that clarified. But yeah, she is apparently Lisa Lee. That is her. That is going to be what she does. She uses going forward. So that'll be interesting, won't it? But yeah, I mean, they go back and forth with their names. It's just like Lynette. The Lynette thing is really fascinating because she is claimed many times that her name is this or her name is that. And how many times have you seen her change that up? There was somebody who they put a post up that I saw Hales posted something with it, but it was much longer than the Hales post. Give me a minute here. To see if I can find it real quick. Give me 1 minute here. Oh my gosh. So apparently now, wow. So now these people are, I'm going to bring up something tomorrow. Actually, I want to bring up something tomorrow too, because apparently they've decided to target someone for having their own opinions as well. That's going to be fascinating too. Liaison, thanks for the 5 there. I guarantee you that she did it as a throwaway email. So hers was not put out there or to decipher and keep track of emails from the court. Maybe it's to hide discovery. Well, this is actually my email, Judge. I'm a legal person. I'm actually a lawyer. Everyone tells me I'm the best in courts. Oh, I'm playing. I am playing. Okay. Teddy, thanks for the 30 there. Treat Bun for the tucket. Happy June. I know it's crazy. It's June, is it not? That is nuts. Navy Vet, thanks for the 5 there. I must either be dreaming or in a nightmare with all the ecosystem drama. Please wake me up. Knock some sense into these crazies. They'll never stop, man. Megan, thanks for the 10 there. Thank you for your support of justice and what the hell's. I've also been preaching about mental health. Laughter helps, but truth prevails. Love to you, Megan, and family. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, mental health is important too. You know, I try to tell people as well, if this stuff, look, at the end of the day, you have to remember there is a dividing line on the impact to you. You know, if you see too much in this, you have the ability, unlike say the Hales, you have the ability to unplug for a minute. So if you have problems, you just remember that, okay? I want you, I've seen some people that, what in the world? Well, that's interesting. Some people send me some crazy stuff. I was going to run somebody's Muppet real quick while I was reading something. And I noticed, I don't want to bring it up yet, but I noticed something really interesting pop into my mailbox. There's been some people that are really wanting to chat too lately that I don't think that they want. Man, are you kidding me? Give me a second. We're having an internet lockup. Give me a second. Let's see. Let me see. Can you still hear me? That was crazy. Oh my gosh. It tried to knock me offline for a minute there. Give me a fat second here. That was really weird. That was very rude. All right. Let me make sure everything's good to go still. Yeah, I don't know if it was the internet or what. It tried to knock me off there. All right, we were good still though. Sorry about that, like I said. Janice, thanks for the 10. The Walrus had a long time to find counsel. Ever since she was named as a defendant was served, she deliberately didn't find an attorney before now. Well, they're also trying to see if other people, if their arguments do get ruled on, then they won't have to worry about it. you know? 1 second. Make this AI pick into a fun Muppet. That's one thing I think a lot of these people, they count on. So Poke, thanks for the 5 there. Candy Money, thanks to Martin S for making me a lawyer. Can you be knighted into that? Can I have the sword of the bar? You know, I skip the bar itself. Maybe not. Thanks for the 2. Happy birthday, Taz. Hey, it's Taz's birthday. Awesome. Happy birthday from all of us to you, Taz. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Yes. I love it. And I got to do that. That's awesome. Yeah. Buck Naked is also paying the troll toll for Country Girl 8869. Got to pay the troll toll. That is awesome. John, thanks for the 10. Chat, love you guys. Appreciate you, Chat. Appreciate you, John. Good to see you again, brother. Sheffield Grandma, thanks for the 10 there. Today's my birthday. Hey, your birthday too. Deb, happy birthday to from all of us to you too, Deb. Happy birthday. May all your dreams also come true. That is awesome. 2 birthdays in there. I love it. Absolutely love it. John dropped 20 gift dubs too. Good to see you, John. Appreciate you, brother. I like seeing you. Like I said, John, I know you do not like this story. We should have it may take a week to put everything together, but we have a hell of a thing that we've been looking at for about a month that is involved in the Blake Lively something that other people don't have. I cannot say what yet. It is developing, but it will be very fun. You will all enjoy it. It will be so crazy. Green Veggies, thanks for the 5 there. John realized he's becoming a major scapegoat. Yeah, you're talking about John Cook, by the way, not John S. John Cook. Just say, hey, by the way, John, if you are around, how is your wife doing? Okay. I hope both of you are doing very well. Love to her too. But yes, does John Cook realize that he's becoming a major scapegoat? He's just not. Yeah, John Cook, I don't think he does. I don't think that he realizes that them going out and representing just one person, it does put him on the hook. I think he's dumb enough also to think that he can do this on his own. And, you know, here's the thing. He may think also, you know, these people, they're operating with his best intention, you know, with best intent, rather, as far as he's concerned. And that's not good either. You know, these people do not have the best intent for anyone else at all. So, what's up, Mr. Gardner? Thank you for the 8 months there. Hello, Tug and Chat. Appreciate you. Hello, return. John, thanks for the 5. Love this community, but I'm done here. Goodbye. Well, good to see you again, brother. I appreciate you. You know, Diane, thanks for the 2 there. I was reading something. One of my little ones has been pretty funny. Give me 1 second. Diana, thanks for the 2. We appreciate all your hard work. Well, hey, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you. And you, much appreciated. All of you are, like I said, you know. 1 second. All right. I'm working on something there too. Jada, thanks for the 10 there. I'm not a lawyer, but if all this whatnot communication doesn't spell tortious interference, I'm not sure what would. Do you see their argument? It was like, he's a lawyer. He was represented, so it doesn't matter what he did. Randy caused it. It's Randy's fault. It's nuts, isn't it? Isn't it not? Maybe not. Thanks for the 10 gifted memberships there too. Thank you. Maybe not. Appreciate you. Appreciate the gift to everyone out there too. Love to you. John, also thank you for 10 gifted memberships there as well. That is awesome of you as well too. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Wanda, thanks for the 5 there. Tug, like Shizzy said in his letter, aka Tugboat McFleece. I love it. Megan and Goblin. Megan and Goblin. That's funny. I like the Tugboat McFleece. That's pretty funny. Now, Janice, again, you said, you know, with him being with his channel ban. Yeah, if somebody is setting out a ban, like they can't post, then they're not supposed to be anywhere else. You know, that's the way you get other channels taken down too. Allie, thanks for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Thugs. Appreciate that. Sticky. Drop 10 gifted memberships too. Man, it has been a gifted membership heyday for people. I love that. I absolutely love it. Thank you, folks. Becky, thanks for the 4 months there. If there were a drinking game, every time BBB said something about YouTube contract, it would be, you didn't know, with the alcohol poison. Yes, that YouTube gun. Oh, God, man. BBB, you know, some of the stuff that he pulls, it blows my mind that he could sit around and be like, yeah, that's totally okay. It wouldn't be okay if people did it to him, but it's okay when he does it to other people. Kermit Lips, I still love that. Thanks for the 3 there. I see all the turtle poo tracks still appearing. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Mama Cat, thanks for the 10. A stalker fan is obsessive. My theory concerning LMNOP is that she was infatuated with Jeremy. When she was rejected, she turned to vicious. She's truly scary. She needs mental help. She won't stop. I think some people don't like being told no. That is my assessment of a lot of what's happened, you know? And you've had this group of people, for whatever reason, they have this hate on with this guy and they want to wreck his life. It's nuts, man. Some of it is absolutely nuts. It blows my mind. Mama Cat, thanks for the 10. Oh, I hit that one. My bad. But thank you again, Mama Cat. Emmy, thanks for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Emmy. That is awesome, too. Like I said, I love gifted memberships. The best thing there. I love seeing those come in. So thank you. Dare, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships as well. Thank you for that, too. And there are lots of memberships today, which is amazing. Thank you all. Bonnie, thanks for the 2. Lug monies. Indeed. She'll have to come down and tell us about her insects one day. Spin Doctor, thanks for the 5. Litigation did not proceed smoothly. Who would have predicted Bruce would be there? A new gang of understatement. That is true, isn't it? You know, Bruce right now, when you listen to them all get together on a platform and talk, some of that stuff has been wild to listen to. And again, you know, the problem with all of this is that you can't say that none of this is an automatic win in courts. None of it. You don't know what part that someone will survive. You don't know how a judge will rule on it. Honestly, I mean, we have no idea. With no ruling still on Bruce to yet come down, I honestly don't. And some of the statements that the judge made, I don't know what I think about that. So we'll see. But I think if anybody could have a case against them, it would be 2L and it would be Bruce. So, but we'll see. We will see. It's crazy, isn't it, though? And Janice, thanks for the 20. Hey, look, here's some money for you and Bug. Hey, by the way, thank you for that. She's going to have to come down and talk to us one day. She's funny. SF, thanks for 5. Bug hunting for me would be in the style of a Vietnam-era flamethrower team. She loves going out and hunting for them. But that's from being, you know, around Dad a lot. You know, she and I, we would go out, even when she was little, I would take her out. I would show her like just fields and whatever lived there. When she was really little, we'd find like mud puddles and all the tadpoles that would lay their eggs in that, and we'd watch them. You know, they'd grow. Some of them we'd move because they would dry up, and they would end up killing them faster than ever. So we would put them in a bucket and we'd watch them develop into frogs, and, you know, they'd leave. Of course, they go do their own thing, but just all kinds of stuff. Explore nature. That's just something she's done forever. Navy vet, thanks for the 5 there. In the early 1980s, here in Kentucky, on a 2-lane road in the country just outside of town, a rattlesnake was killed. It spanned across the road. I can believe that. So my great grandma, she lived out in the middle of the nothing. You know, it reminded me of in the Depp trial. He talked about having a home that he grew up in that, you know, it was poor. You know, you have outhouses and all that. Well, my great grandmother, she had that. She would not upgrade no matter what. Just lived like that. You know, it was as poor as you could get. And we would go out there and we would see her. When we were on our way out, I was really little. My grandfather ran over a rattlesnake, and this rattlesnake was the biggest freaking rattlesnake I've ever seen. I've seen quite a few of them over time, but it was a giant timber rattler. It was so big that my granddad stopped, picked it up, and put it away. He had to kill something like that anyway, you know, without it going to something, you know, so he picked it up for whatever reason. I don't know. I was little, but it was a monster like that. I've seen many snakes, but I've never seen one that big again. I can believe it. Joyce, I'm sorry. I said Janice, my bad. I got Janice on the brain. Joyce, thanks for the 2. What crafts are Lug interested in? Currently, she's been still making a lot of bracelets. You know, she's been enjoying that. She makes she's taken it to making keychains and everything else. Like she made me a star keychain not too long ago. She made me a dragonfly keychain, stuff like that. But she does a lot of that. Brenda, thanks for the 4 months. Remember when LP said in her depot that she was getting emails from people who said they'd stop following What the Hales because of all this? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That should probably be brought up too. Hey, you never did any damage. Oh, by the way. Well, she said that. Cakes, thanks for the 5. Reader's Digest version. Manskin wants the discovery info he didn't get the first time. Actually, Manskin, he wants this case kicked against him and everyone else. And again, I can't tell you that everything goes wrong. Who knows? I've watched enough cases. I've watched cases where I thought there is no way that case gets kicked. And it kicked out. I saw a case kicked. Again, the Vic Mignogna case. People went after him. They were calling him a PDF file and all kinds of terrible stuff. You know, he had business relationships with all these different cons. You know, anime conventions. He got kicked out of dozens of them. He lost his job and everything else. And the freaking judge that was over that, he saw some of the stuff. He had no idea about technology, the way that he treated. He was like, well, where's the existing contract? It was like, okay, well, here it is. Here's where it was violated. You know, he no longer has, that doesn't matter. So it was madness. But for every one of those, you have a different one too. So we'll see. Andre, thanks for the 2. Bruce is living up to his nickname as Giant Douche. Yeah, it feels like that. Sandra, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate that. Sandra D. Buck Naked, thanks for the 5. By special appearance as a trustee for Lisa Lee, the flesh and bone person standing on the It's funny. Cindy, thanks for the 13 months. Interesting that rule 7.1 disclosure. Randy did not agree. Oh yeah, let's pull that up too. Let's see. The rule of compliance. That's fascinating too. I hereby certify this document complies with applicable word count requirements. Wait, is that what we get there? The word count is 7,984 words. Okay. Here's our certificate of service. Let's see. All right. Got that. So yeah, here's that's true. Here's the 7.1. I think it's gone with that though. So pursuant to let's pull that up real fast too. That is actually a good note. I would, usually you don't even think about those. So that is funny. So the certificate of conferral. So pursuant to 7.1b, plaintiff's counsel and counsel for Bruce. They conferred by email and phone, May 29th to June 2nd, to discuss the motion. Parties were not able to resolve the issues contained therein. Yeah, of course. The conferral, of course, they could not confer there. And the certificate, give me 1 minute. The certificate there, too. I like how we get our word count and everything else. If you never look through the certificates, too, some of them are kind of fascinating. But yeah, with the certificate of compliance, of course, they couldn't work anything out. I'm not surprised. And the 7.1 disclosure, yeah, when they talk about 7.1, I'm not surprised. Again, when's the last time you saw something with Bruce attached to it that they agreed on? Jack's mom, thanks for the vibe. I wonder if LP and JC sit around and talk about how crazy and how big this thing's gotten. That's surprising even now. I think they probably talk about how much money it's gotten. Yeah, I think they think it's crazy because of the amount of money. Like when they sucker in so many people to pay, who would have thought, Who would have thought? I mean, that stuff, that just blows my mind. So Jessica, thanks for the 20 there. It's just me. Does Deuce re-litigate the case every time? Yes, that's true. Every single time they re-litigate the cases. They always do. It's nuts, isn't it? Send prayers. Find a new oncologist. Move to Illinois. May 15th. Hard to find new. Oh man, I can only imagine. It's hard to find them. I've been here forever, and it's hard to get anybody to do anything. I mean, prayers to you for sure. Very much. I understand the frustration with that. Love to you. I hope you get everything freaking worked out. I hope everything works out for you. And again, I understand that it does take a hot minute to get things resolved. So, I mean, it's actually been, 18 days so far? Yeah, prayers to you. And if anybody's in that area, where are you at? In Illinois? Maybe, I don't know if anybody's in that area. Maybe you can reach out to Lori if you need help, Maybe somebody could help with that. Buck Naked, thanks for the fun. Remember, he said in chat that if it went before a jury, LP and JC loses. Yeah, well, it's true too. That's very true. I think federal case 1 is supposed to go that way too. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But yeah, I mean, barring any kind of weird thing that happens outside of that, I have no faith in the judicial system, though. Megan tells me that a lot. She's like, you'll hear it come out of me. Anytime something goes positive, I am happily surprised by it. But otherwise, is Shizzy not up tonight? Is Shizzy not live tonight? Huh. I was setting up a redirect. I don't see him around. Janice, thanks for the 10 there. Tug, Kentucky Reptile Zoo has several rattlesnakes, timber rattlers, and they're huge. You should follow. I'll have to check that out then. I will. You can collect venom for research, lab tests, antivenom for venomous snake bites. That's actually really good. We have to have antivenom a lot. So my grandfather works with nursery, trees, and they get out on property and people get bit. You get bit out in the middle of the nothing anyway. And it's always good to have something around. So that's good. Let me see. She's on the way to Dollywood. Oh yeah, they're having the Dollywood thing. I forgot all about that. All right. Is anybody else live today? Let's see. Is anyone else live? Let me look. Need somebody to redirect to. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm not sure who is live, who to redirect to. So if you have I'll give it 1 minute there before. I hate to call it a loss and just redirect to nothing. I hate to end. It's always good to. Yeah, Shizzy's in Tennessee. Yeah, I forgot about the Dollywood thing. People asked me if I wanted to go to the Dollywood stuff, but I didn't know if anybody else was live. My subscriptions tab that's supposed to tell me when people are live has not been very good about giving me people to redirect to. I don't see anybody. Oh well. Where's Just J Hip? I know. All right. Well, I guess we're going to call it tonight. Appreciate you folks. I was going to redirect to someone, but oh well. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks, folks. I'm not sure what channel, what's happening tomorrow, but we'll see how things go. All right. Thank you.